In a world where the truth isn't always what it seems, real estate masters step forward to help put the E first in the word true. TREU. Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. And now, here's your real estate masters and their host, Tom Blatania.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another beautiful Florida day here. Friday, 74 degrees outside.
It is fantastic.
It's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous out.
If anyone's listening up north and you're seeing kind of a pattern here.
Is anyone listening or just anyone listening up north?
No, if there's anyone from up north listening,
okay.
that they'll see a pattern in here. There's something just wonderful about the weather.
It seems like every time we come in, we're like, God, it's so gorgeous out. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. Beautiful day.
Well, of course, wait about 3 or 4 hours. It'll start raining for a little bit, then it'll stop.
Yeah, but that's nice. It cools things off.
Yep.
Keeps our plants green.
And it's funny how yesterday, it was a little more humid.
It was humid
temperature
yesterday.
up.
Yes, it was.
Now, boom, wake up this morning.
We got another front coming pushing through.
Oh, good. Let's hope those fronts keep coming.
Yeah.
Keep it right around between 50 and 70.
Yeah.
Perfect. Wouldn't that be just perfect with the way that everything else is around here?
60 to 80.
60 to 80.
It's nice to have some hoodie weather, though.
Yeah, it is. I love sitting out on the patio in the evening, morning too, but where the temperature stays that way even into the evening more, and just sitting out on the patio and with a little bit of a drink, just watching the trees and just feeling the warmth, and maybe just enough to put a little something on your feet so they don't get cold or shit. Oh, but absolutely wonderful. But welcome to TREU Radio, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. We're here with Carol Morgan, Scott McAllister, and Mr. George Matter. Don't forget to watch us live. That's right. Watch a radio show.
Oh.
Absolutely. There's more and more radio shows out there that are going live. I mean, you see all the sports networks now. Of course, Howard Stern's been on forever and a day, but I think the only thing you see really on TV now or on video is the sports ones.
Yeah. Well, they're the real popular, the real popular ones. But it's kind of funny because they used to have that old saying, I had a face for radio. But now it's like, oh, great,
You notice that some of the people are getting a little bit better looking.
Right.
You see some of the old timers that are like, oh my God, no wonder that was the
And
saying.
I loved, when I worked at on the Jack Cole show way back in the 99, 2000, they had over at the station over at WJNO where we worked, they had this guy who has that real booming deep voice, and he does the smooth jazz, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
You meet the guy, he was like 5'6", and I looked at him and I'm like, oh my God, like the guy from the what's that? The country band, the Oomp Bop Oomp Bop.
Oh yeah.
That little short dude with a super deep voice, and it's hilarious when you see that voice coming from a very small guy. Right?
You would have never ever guessed.
In your mind, you're picturing this big guy like my size in the studio,
Big
talking,
burly guy.
a big burly dude, and he was probably 120 pounds wet.
Exactly. Oh, it's funny trying to pin voices. I enjoy doing that sometimes, pin voices. So go to TREURadio.com. That's TREU radio.com, and you can actually watch us live in the studio. There's also, when you go there, not just to watch us, but there's a chat room. And if you don't like to call into radio shows, but you have questions or you want to help move a topic along, like next week, we got a big topic that you folks are going to want to tune in for. And if you don't want to call, go to our website because you can chat in tons of questions. We are going to have Casey Taylor, who is going to be coming on to speak to us about the big choo-choo.
Choo-choo.
And I guarantee you,
that's usually a pretty hot button topic right now.
A lot of people in the sound of our voice, they're going to want to be on listening, are going to want to call in. And if you want to call into the show now or then, give us a call, 772-220-9788. That's 220-9788. And we're going to have that topic. And that's going to be the whole show. And I tell you, we're going to have I see having a lot of controversy, and I told her to bring some positive and negative to it, because it's not all negative and it's not all positive. There has to be, just like we told, we want two sides to the coin. and we want to hear what's going on with that.
There are two sides of the coin always. So there's also, false balance, and you don't want to think about, you have to give everything what it deserves. And I think it'll be interesting to have that conversation. And if you don't want to call up live or even, just go on the chat room, don't forget you can go to the Facebook page, our TREU Radio Facebook page. Just leave some question suggestions, because we have some good ones ourselves. But if you have some interesting questions, we'll definitely pose them to Casey when
yeah, absolutely. This way we can kind of have them. So yeah, go to TREURadio.com and type that in there, and it's easy. TREU radio.com, and as soon as you log onto the page, you'll see the video live. Just click on the play button, and then right to the right hand side of that is the chat room. Just go ahead and click on chat. You don't have to put a name or a password or anything. Just go ahead and start typing, and you can ask your questions even about the topics we have today.
Yeah,
and we
absolutely.
have a few topics. We're going to talk a little bit about, is refinancing a mortgage really worth it? And Carol's got a huge background in mortgage, and she's got to kind of help walk us through where, maybe there might be some opportunity there where it's just, even if you can get 1% lower, well, maybe it's not worth it because of all the other fees. The other thing is, it's kind of a funny little battle going between Florida and Georgia for water rights. We're going to talk about that too, and you'll find out. And then does weather, and we talk about great weather, but does weather have a big impact on home buyers or sellers? We're going to talk about that. And also a little bit about your realtor. What are some of the criteria you should be looking for? But also, how do I know my realtor is working hard for me? Do you look at how well they handle their weight to know that they're working hard for you, or is it other things? So we're going to talk a little bit about that, so you can really find out. I know I've dealt with a few realtors, and I sit back sometimes and go, okay, I haven't heard from them in a week, haven't heard from them in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. What are they doing for me? So we're going to talk about exactly. There you go. So we're going to talk about those things and find out what's happening with that. So also Facebook, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. You can go there for Facebook. You can drop us a note if there's a topic, something you want to talk about. Maybe you got a company that we would want to think about having here as a guest. We'd love to have that opportunity. So go there on the guest. So all right. So let's just kind of start off. I think Carol actually has some market updates. So we're going to, Carol, go ahead.
Well, we've got the local market update for the St. Lucie County. We are up in closed sales 18.2% for the third quarter, and over last year's third quarter. Median in price, this is really impressive.
Yes.
The median housing prices went from $124,950 in the third quarter of 13 to $137,000.
Wow.
In the third quarter of
almost
14.
10%.
10%. Great increase. Days on the market are pretty much still the same, 48 and 49 days on the market. Inventory is down. We know that. We have about a 4-month supply in the market right now. Okay. In our closed sales, we've seen that our closed sales actually were down 3.3%. The median price was up 6.6 for the condos. This is condos and townhouses. So the median price for a condo right now, and I'm assuming because a lot of those condos are out on the island, in the third quarter of last year it was $135,000 up to $143,950 this year.
Now, do you think that the prices going up has a direct effect to how many are closed or how many days on the market? Because people are raising prices.
It's a supply and demand.
Right.
When your supply is down, the demand goes up, throwing the prices up. It's just law of logistics. Right. I mean, that's just the way it happens. And people, I think, are down buying again. It's creating, and when you don't have so much product on the market, your turnaround time is going to be a lot less. Then the median days on the market for condos now are 85 compared to 91. There are inventory on condos are down by, it was 819 last year to 632 this year, and there's a 6.1 month supply of condos on the market currently. So it's showing that everything is going the right way. We're on our way up. Our inventory is down. People looking to buy, if you want to still get a good deal. better think about buying now.
And you gotta move quick. I went to preview a property yesterday. It was just on the market. I went on the market yesterday. Went and previewed it. It was a duplex deal. And I'm like, it was a great deal. I'm like, you can move in the one side, rent out the other side. Total great situation. By the time I got home to call my clients, it was already under contract.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
I just called the realtor and was like, hey, have you had any offers yet? He goes, yeah, we already accepted one. And they had just put it on the market that morning.
I had taken clients out last week and showed them homes, and we did about 16 homes actually because they were here for a short time. They had their first, second, and third choice. At the time that we looked at them, they were all active. Came back to the office, wrote up a contract. They already had another contract in, and they had accepted it verbally. Went to the second one, already under contract. Went to the third one, already under contract. So we're back scratching again, figuring out what are we going to do now.
Now, is that? Do you feel that that's because prices are still reasonable, or that there's not a lot of inventory on the market? So
both.
The houses.
Both.
It is both.
But I think the biggest part of it is because the inventory is not there. People are finally realizing that they want to buy.
Right.
And you got to move quick.
Yeah.
So there's not 15 homes for them to bid on, or something.
And
like
there's
that.
no playing games. I mean, you're coming in, and I'm talking at we're in the $100,000 to $115,000, $120,000 range homes. We're talking here, but there's no playing or lowballing. You come in, you offer full price, or you offer $1,000 more than full price, just to make sure your contract's accepted.
Right.
And they're not wanting to take any contingencies anymore on these houses, and they don't have to. And it's an interesting market. My investors out there are seeing quite a change. We've had to raise the level so that the return on investment is where they need to be on them. So we are certainly bringing those prices. Their buying power has to come up now.
Right.
It's interesting. It's really interesting to see what's going on.
And if you also have a house that you're considering selling, it may be a good time to call the realtor, get an evaluation.
Yep.
Call us.
It's been on the fence for a while. It's probably time to consider that.
Well, you think about it. I mean, if houses are sitting on the market like less than a day, some of these houses, I mean, as a seller, I would be like, okay, let's make this happen. But the other thing is that if I'm typically used to waiting 4, 5, 6 months when I go to sell a house, because that's the norm. All right, and I post and I know that it's going to turn around so quick. That may hold me off to say, wait a minute, I'm not going to be ready for 4 or 5 months to physically make that move.
Right.
I don't want to put the house on the market yet. So now I got to wait. But then again, what happens? 6 or 7 months from now, the roles may be reversed.
Right.
I go and put the house on the market. I'm expecting to close in less than a month or something.
Might not happen.
And look what happens then.
And too, it depends on the price of the house.
Yeah.
I mean, your houses that are, I would say, between 150 to 250, they're still turning pretty quickly. You get up on that 250 price mark, and you get up into the higher prices, they're going to take longer to sell.
Yes. That's where you're looking at the 40 days as the averages there.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm at the like I was saying, at the 100 to 125 level, those are just being snatched up.
Oh, those are gone
in a day.
And some of those are gone in office before they even hit the MLS.
And I've seen that before.
Yeah, I've had a few of those lately.
But one of the things I think that's a misconception that I want to clear up for people is I think some people, when they see something go that quick, they say, oh, it must have been underpriced. And because they think, well, I could have gotten 10,000 more if it sold in a day. And the thing is, that's actually not true. It sold right away because it was priced right.
Yep.
It's not a matter of, if things are priced right, they sell quickly. But price at $10,000 more, no, it wouldn't have sold. So it's not a matter of that.
And
it went
from
quickly,
a homeowner's point of view, how can I, if I'm a feel it, touch it, know it, see it kind of person, what's my comfort level of knowing that, okay, it did sell now quickly, but how do I know that I couldn't have put it for 10,000 more?
Well, the realtor should have really done a good job giving you a CMA, letting you know what the value of your house is.
Okay.
And if the value, it's a math game.
Yeah.
There's a little art to it. You play a little bit, but there are a certain number you can say this house really is in this condition, with this upgrades, it's worth this.
This is what this house is going to sell for. Now,
and that's why you hire a professional.
Right. If the house is going to sell for 180 and we know it's going to comp at 180 and it sells at 180 and you want to list it for 199, be prepared to sit for a bit, because it's not going to do that. So typically what I'll do is, and I think all of us do that, is if that seller is saying, well, you know what, I think I really can get a little bit more money. If in 30 days I don't have an offer on the table on that house, those prices are coming down.
We're having a conversation.
We're having a conversation because I'm not doing them any justice and they aren't doing me any justice because they're wasting my time, my money. We're wasting their anxiety for wanting to move and move forward with their lives.
Right.
Let's just get it done.
And the realtors, the other realtors, the good ones who pay attention, they know when a price is good. That Evergreen, I was during today's Hot Around Town, I was going to announce that I was going to do an open house again at Evergreen, but it's under contract now. And Carol had said when I brought it up, and I said, hey, it's there, $259. But she had said, wow, that's a good price for Evergreen.
Price.
We priced it right, and it sold.
Right.
Because other realtors said, that's priced right, you need to go in and make a good offer.
So they can have the confidence as long as the documentation has been presented to them ahead of time.
That's correct.
So that then they can feel confident about that.
You should have some form of CMA presented from,
Right.
and
that's a competitive market analysis
exactly.
for folks who don't know. Okay, and what are the details of what that involves? Let's go through that real quick before we get a break.
You start off just simply finding a similar property, similar homes right around there. Especially in some of the neighborhoods where they were cookie cutters, it's easy because you can say this is exactly like that one. When a home's unique, it becomes more of a challenge. But you just use, you start off with things like square footage. You start off, does it have waterfront? How far away is it from the roads? I mean, there's just a whole. It's a whole process of adding and subtracting. Does it have pools? Does it have granite?
Yeah, it's all the factors that you have to factor in.
And the more experienced you are, you can do it. There are programs you can plug in, and that's where the math comes in. But the more experienced you are in the neighborhoods and in the community, then that's where the art comes in. You start saying, yeah, but I know people favor this section of town because it happens to be by this school, or it's by the public shopping center. Just the little things that that makes something more desirable.
Okay. All right. So that's some good information. And if you missed any of that, you can always go back and watch on TREURadio.com. You can watch and listen back through the show and find out a little bit more. Or if you'd like to find out more details about the competitive market analysis, or maybe what would be a good way to price your home, or when's a good time to price it, give the folks a call here. The direct phone number to them is what, Scott?
That's 772-444-2590.
There you go. What's that again?
772-444-2590.
And that gets directly to the realtors. You go ahead and leave a message. They'll call you back right away, help answer any questions that you may have.
If you're wondering what your home's worth, we'd be happy to do a competitive market analysis for you.
And even if you have a friend, a family member.
It doesn't cost you anything.
It doesn't cost you a penny.
No. Anybody, friend, family member, acquaintance or whatnot, and they're looking for somebody. Obviously, they want to build a relationship, and we're going to be talking about that when we come back from the break.
People that are out there who have had their house listed in the past, like some people who maybe 2 years ago had their home listed and it just didn't sell because they were too high. They needed more out of it. Today, you may be able to get that price for that house because the prices are up. So don't think that you'll never get your home prices back again, because on the contrary, they are coming back.
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are coming back. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our first quick break and hear from some of our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to talk, all this talk about the CMAs and everything like that. And we're not talking about the Country Music Awards. We're going to talk about how you can pick and choose and find out whether your realtor is working hard for you. TREU Radio, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, 772-220-9788. It's 1024. We'll be right back.
McAllister, General Manager of the McAllister International Team of Keller Williams of the Treasure Coast and co-host of Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, every Friday morning on WSTU at 1450 a.m. I have a full real estate team with specialists in buying, selling, land and equestrian properties, distressed homes, and luxury waterfront. Call myself or my team at 561-756-0891 or online at treasurecoasthomesonline.com.
90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. Do you have a struggling business? CTL Consultants specializes in helping small to medium-sized businesses get back on track. They'll help you understand how your profit and loss statement works. If used properly on a daily basis, it can be the most powerful tool you have. And you don't have to be an accountant to understand one. Don't use a profit and loss statement? Then you need to contact CTL Consultants today at ctlconsultants.com or 772-882-5700 to get your business back on track.
I'm George Matter of Keller Williams Realty of the Treasure Coast. I've been a residential realtor for the past 12 years, specializing in waterfront and country club communities.
If you're looking for the right house to dock your boat, I'm the realtor to call. Please contact me at 772-486-4676 or online at matterrealtors.com. I look forward to helping you buy, sell, or invest in your next home. Please listen to us Friday mornings at 10 a.m. on WSTU.
Why is the back bedroom always so hot?
Because it's the farthest room away from the AC.
Judy across the street has the same house we do. She doesn't have this problem. They had CTL consultants work with their builder and architect to design the most efficient system. They even designed the ductwork system so that every room is the same temperature. Her house is the same exact size. It has 2 tons less air conditioning than ours, and it feels 10 times better in their house. CTL Consultants, they really made the difference. We should have had CTL Consultants design our system.
If you're a builder, architect, engineer, or HVAC company looking for a true professional to design your HVAC systems and provide proper energy analysis, then you should contact CTL Calcs at ctlcalcs.com. That's ctlcalcs.com. ctlcalcs.com to see how we can help you build a better home.
I'm Carol Morgan, real estate consultant with Keller Williams Real Estate in beautiful Stuart, Florida, serving Martin, St. Lucie, and Palm Beach counties, and co-host of Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. I have an extensive array of luxury waterfront and single-family homes. If you're looking to buy or sell, please call me at 772-631-1394 or go to StewartHomeListings.com.
Don't miss Real Estate Unleashed, Friday mornings at 10 on WSTU.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jupiter, and Indiantown, Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, welcome back to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. I'm Tom Platania, your host, with George Matter, Carol Morgan, and Scott McAllister. And we want to give a shout out to Mama McAllister and Papa McAllister and hope that they are doing better.
Yeah, thank you. They had a small, well, I wouldn't say small, but accident, and they're a little sore right now, but fortunately all the tests came back negative, so no serious injuries, just a lot of pain that comes from they say the third day, I guess, is the worst. They're in the second day, and they woke up pretty stiff today. So
yeah, well, good. Well, we hope that our thoughts go out to them. We hope that they get better.
Thank you.
And so let's do our segment coming back of Hot Around Town here on TREU Radio. 772-8. Excuse me, that's my phone number. 772.
Are you trying to get a date for tonight? He's trying to get a date for tonight.
I'm so used to saying my phone number all day long. 772-220-9788 if you'd like to give us a call here at the studio. Nice. All right, so hot around town. Let's start with ladies first. Miss Carol Morgan, what's hot around town for the Morgan team?
Well, I've got I have a lead generator, Terry Cohen, who has been doing some lead generating for me. Terry is going to be coming back, working as an active agent, so that's great under my team. That'll be nice.
Cool, very good.
Colleen Craddock, who
you've
is
been
a new
working
agent.
you need some help, Carol. You've been working your butt off.
It's crazy. Colleen Craddock, who is a new comeback agent, who is just doing phenomenal. She'd been in the business for quite a while, and then she had a stroke, and she had some issues, and she's back full swing. We've got her full trained again, and she's back full swing working. And today, we're taking her first listing today. So we have a great celebration today.
Excellent,
beautiful.
So
have to have a nice lunch after that.
Yes, we will. We will have a nice lunch today. So so just been busy doing training, catching up. Trying to get stuff done, working with some buyers. Excited about Terry coming back. So it'll be
open house. Any open houses?
I have, actually, Colleen's holding one for me on Sunday. It'll be up in Port St. Lucie and Burlington. So if anybody's interested in seeing that, to stop by. It's $106. Well, I just reduced it yesterday to $159.9.
Okay, good.
So go by and see it. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Beautiful, beautiful. And how about what's hot around town for the Matter team?
I did get a new listing this week. It is 1717 Southeast North Buttonwood Drive. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath CBS home. Pool home, and it's a lot of nice upgrades. They put travertine tile, brand new stainless steel appliances. It's a really, really, really nice property. They're asking $219,500. They're ready to move. Also, I'm doing an open house this Sunday. A fellow agent's going to cover it for me at 486 Northeast Salida Circle, and that's going to be held Sunday from 11 to 2.
Nice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All
Excellent.
right. And how about for the McAllister team? What kind of open houses or homes do we have listed?
Yeah, like I said, we did cancel the one open house, but I'm going to be come out and see me, and if you want to see Radio's Scott McAllister,
in all his
I will
glory.
be signing autographs, and I have little tiny pictures of me on my business card. I can hand out. But
do they say, "Oh, I love me"?
right, little hearts. I heart me.
Should have seen him. I saw him at Twisted Tuna the other night. He walks in. He's got his glasses. He's got his shirt unbuttoned. He's strutting his stuff.
Too cool for the room.
2 fireballs.
Trying to be a chick magnet, huh?
Hey, you gotta flaunt it, right? No, but I'm gonna be doing open house at our the Cambridge unit, the manufactured home.
The one next to your mom?
The one that
Okay.
right next to my parents. I'm gonna be holding that one open on Sunday 1 to 4.
Right.
Why do you think that hasn't sold yet?
It's the 55 plus. I mean, if it wasn't 55 plus, it would have sold right now. We have a lot of people in their late 40s that are really interested in it, but because you can't get golf course for under 120. I mean, you're on the golf course, and the nice part is you're on the tee. You're not on the receiving end of the balls. So your house isn't being pelted by that. There's been offers on it, but I think it's just I want to get more people in there to view it.
Well, they're coming.
Yeah, I was going to say another month. That'll certainly increase traffic.
And it's really. Plus, there's a couple of a couple of bad comps because someone owned two of the properties, and their parents owned them, and they passed away, and they sold them dirt cheap just to get out, and that I think they sold them for like $80,000, and that really drags your comps down.
That can really hurt. Now, for something like that, I mean, my question would be is, how do you explain that away besides what you just did? Because as somebody looking from the outside, if I was to see that, I'd be like, oh, they're way overpriced on this house,
right.
But not realizing that the house is sold for the specific reason that price.
And the thing is, you can, and we could even argue and say that, but you have to think about what an appraiser would do, unless it's a cash deal. And the appraisers do look at comps.
Mm-hmm. They do.
They look at those, and that's why it hurts you. And if someone's paying cash, you don't have to worry. But if they're getting a mortgage, it has to appraise for a certain amount, and those poor comps can hurt you. So we're trying to bring the neighborhood back up again.
Yeah.
Well, I know too that in Cambridge, there are people who own more than one unit in there, and then what you have to realize is those are investment properties, and people who typically own investment properties don't maintain or keep them up as if somebody who really resides in the property and has pride in their home and takes care of them.
Reduces the value.
That's a big factor.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big factor you have to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, TREU Radio, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. Give us a call here, 772-220-9788. It's 10:34 here on an absolutely beautiful 75-degree Florida day. So, we're talking a lot about the realtor. So what criteria should a person use when finding the right realtor and the right real estate company?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know finding the right realtor that you can communicate with is important, but from being in the business, I also realized that having the right real estate company that has a lot of the partners working with them can be a big plus. So what criteria should a person use? Kind of go down a list of what would be the first things that they should look at for a realtor.
Well, for realtors, like you said, I think communication is the number one most important thing.
Yep.
You have to be able to, you have to have a realtor who does communicate and can communicate effectively with you.
Okay.
It's just like a relationship. It's not always going to work out. There are some super high aggressive type A realtors, and they work really well with certain people. And then there's other people who are like, no, whoa, I want someone who's laid back, who's going to take their time, who's going to be a lot slower. So you do have to have that communication.
Okay.
But I agree with what you're saying, that it's not just the realtor, it's the company, because I've met plenty of great realtors who work independently or work for really small companies, but I still feel like they're at a disadvantage to somebody who works at Keller Williams for the amount of free education that we can get.
Yeah.
And the networking opportunities when we have our meetings. How many deals are made at our meeting? Well, we'll get together. There's 100 people in the room. Someone says, "I got this listing." Oh, I got a buyer for that, and you just don't get that.
Right.
When it's a small mom and pop kind of joint. And I know a lot of those people work really hard and they're very honest, good realtors. Right. I just think that the technology and the education that it comes from working with a really great company like KW makes a big difference.
Yeah, and then also the partnering. I mean, where when I short sold my house through Keller Williams when I did that. And the nice thing I liked is when I walked in the door to do it, that everybody that I needed to make that process happen was already a partner, and not have to. Well, I got it. Like when I bought my first house, I had the title company over here, and this company over there, and that company over there. I was like, "Are you kidding me? I got to go here, then I got to go." So it's nice having that ability, and that's an important part. So I guess to my question was, you got to have an interview process.
Yeah,
and you need to interview. What would you say? Three realtors?
Do you feel comfortable?
I think it's
till you feel comfortable.
If the first one hits it off, there's no reason. If you think this person is communicating well and is saying what I need to hear, there's no reason to keep going. And just like Carol said, it's when you find that level of communication.
Yeah, so that's important. So I mean, just like anything else is, kind of not like getting three prices, because that's not what you're looking at. Your house is going to sell for what your house is going to sell. Right. The realtor has absolutely nothing to do with what the house sells for. It's who's buying the house that dictates that. So if you're choosing a realtor, in my thought, if you're choosing a realtor just because George says, "Well, I can get you $189 for that house," and Carol comes in and says, "Well, I can only get $179 because that's what it's going to sell for." Well, I want to go with George.
Right.
Well, you might not be able to communicate with George properly. George, and I'm not saying this about you.
I
should have probably used.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow.
I should have probably used somebody completely different.
I missed another listing.
It's just easy.
No, but you're right. The person who gives you the highest number or is a total yes man.
Yeah.
Now, they should always be polite. If they're not polite and kind, you don't want to work with that person. There's plenty of nice people out there. But they shouldn't be a yes man.
Right.
If they're not standing up to their principles and saying, "No, I'm sorry, this is what it's worth."
Yes.
And if they're not willing to stand up for that, then,
and also, like with staging or taking things like you talk about taking pictures and certain things away, that's the right thing to do. And, and not just like teaching somebody in sales in general, whether it's right or wrong, if you're not the one who's letting the homeowner know about it, then that makes you know better. So you need to let them know this is how it's supposed to be. This is what's going to get you the best dollar. Now, you may not agree with what I'm saying, but like you say, Scott, if I'm just to sit there and I'm going to tell you what you want to hear and I'm going to agree with everything you want to hear, I'm not doing my job as a representative for you.
Or sharing the feedback from once you get showings. A lot of times agents are afraid to let them know, well, the house wasn't clean, it wasn't ready.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be upfront with the customers and let them know you need to have it show its best to get the best money for it.
Yep, absolutely.
It is. It's amazing how even like you say, cleanliness. It just some people don't have the imagination to see beyond what is on the counter.
I showed a house last week that oh my gosh, it was so bad. It was lived in. It was wall to wall stuff. They knew we were coming. Beds weren't made. Dishes piled high in the sink. It was terrible. And then the owner came back after and said, he met us on the way back in. Well, how did you like it? If we could have seen more of the house without having so much stuff around, I think maybe my clients
or too many distractions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. You just can't. Your house has got to be not totally spotless. I mean, you don't have to be a fanatic every day going around and making sure I don't have any lint on the floors, a little bit of dog hair here. You don't have to do that. Coffee cup on the sink, that's okay. Make your bed, clean the bathrooms, pick up the stuff.
Right.
That's all you have to do, and it's not that hard to do. So it's really important because the people do get first impression is your curb appeal. Second impression is when you open that door and you look in.
That pop, and some of them pop, some of them don't.
And the smell too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and the smell. I mean, when I walk into some homes and the smell, and it just turns you off, and just while you're walking around, it's the smell in your head
that you're thinking about.
And it distracts you from everything else. That's why, Carol, when you do your open houses, she bakes cookies.
We make cookies.
Absolutely.
And I know your mom's phenomenal with open houses.
Yeah, we've done pies or candles or. One thing that I did I did back in the past, and I want to start doing now with the cooler weather coming in. Because I just enjoy it is hot mulled apple cider. You put it in a crock pot and just.
Nice.
And it smells so good. You pour yourself a cup of it.
Make sure you leave that buttered rum out of there.
Yeah, no, non-alcoholic. Non-alcoholic.
It reminds them of home.
Might sell the house a little bit quicker. You never know.
That part is you can't even get good cider donuts down here.
Exactly.
I mean, the donuts down here are nothing like the donuts are up north.
No.
And to have the good hot cider donuts and the mulled cider. There's nothing better.
Oh, now I'm hungry.
We know where Scott's going.
I gotta go back home.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take another quick break, and when we come back, is refinancing your mortgage worth it? We're going to tell you some of the ins and outs and stuff that, well, maybe you didn't think about, and now that the rates are so low, you might want to reconsider. You're listening to TREU Radio, 772-220-9788. Give us a call.
Hi, I'm Scott McAllister, General Manager of the McAllister International Team of Keller Williams of the Treasure Coast and co-host of Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, every Friday morning on WSTU at 1450 a.m. I have a full real estate team with specialists in buying, selling, land and equestrian properties, distressed homes, and luxury waterfront. Call myself or my team at 561-756-0891 or online at treasurecoasthomesonline.com.
90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. Do you have a struggling business? CTL Consultants specializes in helping small to medium-sized businesses get back on track. They'll help you understand how your profit and loss statement works. If used properly on a daily basis, it can be the most powerful tool you have. And you don't have to be an accountant to understand one. Don't use a profit and loss statement? Then you need to contact CTL Consultants today at ctlconsultants.com or 772-882-5700 to get your business back on track.
I'm Carol Morgan, real estate consultant with Keller Williams Real Estate in beautiful Stuart, Florida, serving Martin, St. Lucie, and Palm Beach counties, and co-host of Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. I have an extensive array of luxury waterfront and single-family homes. If you're looking to buy or sell, please call me at 772-631-1394 or go to StewartHomeListings.com.
Don't miss Real Estate Unleashed, Friday mornings at 10 on WSTU.
I'm George Matter of Keller Williams Realty of the Treasure Coast. I've been a residential realtor for the past 12 years, specializing in waterfront and country club communities. If you're looking for the right house to dock your boat, I'm the realtor to call. Please contact me at 772-486-4676 or online at matterrealtors.com. I look forward to helping you buy, sell, or invest in your next home. Please listen to us Friday mornings at 10 a.m. on WSTU.
Why is the back bedroom always so hot?
Because it's the farthest room away from the AC.
Judy across the street has the same house we do. She doesn't have this problem. They had CTL Consultants work with their builder and architect to design the most efficient system. They even designed the ductwork system so that every room is the same temperature. Her house is the same exact size. It has 2 tons less air conditioning than ours, and it feels 10 times better in their house. CTL Consultants, they really made the difference. We should have had CTL Consultants design our system.
If you're a builder, architect, engineer, or HVAC company looking for a true professional to design your HVAC systems and provide proper energy analysis, then you should contact CTL Calcs at ctlcalcs.com. That's ctlcalcs.com. ctlcalcs.com to see how we can help you build a better home.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jupiter, and Indiantown, Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, 772-220-9788, your number to call here. If you'd like to talk to any of our realtors on TREU Radio, Carol Morgan, Scott McAllister, and Mr. George Matter. I'm Tom Platini, your host. Is refinancing your mortgage now worth it? I mean, rates have dropped below 4. They're in the mid to low 3s or something like that now, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Refinancing is worth it as long as it makes sense.
Right.
You have to take a look at what your mortgage amount is today, plus closing costs.
Right.
So you factor it in and figure out what your new payment will be, what your old payment is, divide it out over your costs to see what the payback period is going to be and see if it makes any sense. I always said as a rule of thumb it was pretty close to about 3%. If you're unless you have a huge mortgage.
Right.
If you're on an everyday average conventional loan, if you have 3% spread on your interest rate, say you're paying 7 now and you're paying 7 on your current one, and you can get it down for 3, even 3.625. Figure out what the payment is, what the differential is, figure out what your closing costs are going to be, divide that in. If you can get a payback out in a certain period of time and you know you're going to be in that house that many years.
Right. The timetable is certainly a factor.
It's all, you have to look at the whole picture. It's not just what that bottom line is up front, because if your closing costs are $2,000 or $3,000,
right,
and they tack that onto your mortgage, what are you gaining? If you're going to be selling that house in 2 or 3 years, it may not be worth doing it.
Because that $2,000 or $3,000 now, you're actually adding interest on top of that as well, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So that $2,000 or $3,000 over the time frame could end up being $5,000, $6,000, $7,000.
Right. But it's not hard. It's not hard to figure it out. I mean, I guess you gotta have to be a numbers person. Go to your lender, figure out what you're paying now, what you pay then,
and then take the closing costs. And so what would be the actual calculation? So repeat them again. So I'm going to take, let's say I'm at 7, and we don't have to we don't know the exact numbers, but we're at 7. We go down to let's say a 4. And let's say, just rough numbers, the closing costs ended up being $3,000, and let's say it lowered my mortgage by $50 a month. So what would kind of be my count?
You take the $50 and the $50 savings that you're going to be getting.
Okay.
Divide it into your costs.
Okay.
And figure out what your payout going back for is going to be. So if you have $50 and you've got $3,000 in costs, you divide that out to figure out it's going to take how many months to do that. 60 months. It's 5 years.
Correct.
Are you going to be in that house in 5 years?
Okay.
And that's your break-even point.
That's your break-even before. Okay.
So then maybe it's not worth doing.
Okay. That makes sense.
But if it's 3% drop, chances are your saving is going to be substantially more, depending on the mortgage amount.
On the mortgage amount. Because if you've got a little mortgage amount, it might not be worth it to even fool with it.
Right. Now,
but if you have like a $300,000 mortgage,
now it's going to make a difference.
It'll make a huge difference.
But that's something to keep in mind. Understanding the fees.
And then you also have to realize if you have PMI in there, you have to figure out where that will put you at.
Now, when refinancing, is there any opportunity there where the insurance or the interest or any of that stuff can change because you're refinancing?
There's a good chance if you're refinancing, one of the big reasons to do it is if you can get rid of the PMI.
Okay.
If the home value went up enough and you can get rid of that, say that alone could save you $100 a month. So even if the percentages are not 3% savings, but if it's 1.5% and you can get rid of the PMI,
more insurance. Okay.
It depends on the certain situation, and that could be a factor.
You have to also take a look at PMI. A lot of the PMI companies, if you can do a simple appraisal, have an appraisal done.
Right.
And they can show that the value of the home increased enough to have the 20% equity, you can get rid of it. And that's usually after a 2-year period.
But not with the new FHA loans. No longer do that. They stay with you forever.
Forever, no matter what.
So it can force you to do a refi just to make that happen.
Right.
Okay. So there's a lot of stuff. So you really need to make sure. And a good finance company, but also a good realtor is going to know some of these things too. Now, you're probably not going to talk with a realtor doing a refinancing.
Probably not. Just have some trust in your lender.
Yeah.
However, that being said, just like you were saying about being full service here, if you need a contact for someone you can trust, feel free to call us at the 772-444-2590. We don't have a dog in the race, but we have people that we trust, and if you don't have a lender that have that trust in, give us a call. We'll be happy to refer you to somebody that we personally worked with that we know.
I mean, I've had people because they've known that some of my clients who knew that I had a mortgage background, we've referred them to a lender, and they'll come back to ask me and say, well, what are your thoughts on this?
Good, yes.
And so we're there to help you guys. We're there. Just make sure you call us.
Yeah, and then also if you don't plan on being in a house for a very long period of time, maybe sitting down and talking with a realtor ahead of time and saying, okay, here's some of my options. This is what my plans are now and in the future. From a real estate point of view, before I make this move. What are your thoughts? Oh, wait a minute. My house is worth how much now? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I don't want to refinance. Maybe I want to move on up like George and Wheezy now. So, that could be a good starting point to give you guys a call to help walk through the process. And then if it comes to the point where they say, hey, you know what, I want to do the just finance, give you guys a call, and you guys can help guide them in the right direction. This way they don't miss out, because, I would hate to just go to a lender and do the refinance only, and then find out that I had a lot of other options that I could have ended up, maybe I wanted to do the refinance because I wanted money in my pocket to make the home look more beautiful. Well, you know what? Maybe I can find a nicer home with everything that I already want without having to go through all that trouble and actually get the lower interest rate. And so there's a lot of, speaking with you guys ahead of time, I think it's a key.
As we all know, that the no-doc loans are back again, and there are certain lenders that are offering them out there. For those people out there who are self-employed, who really had, they didn't show enough income, but yet they're self-employed, and we know that they had enough income for a mortgage, they may have private lenders out there that are charging them 12% interest on books today for those type of loans. Now, for you people who are doing that, is the time to start checking into the no-doc loans again.
Yeah, huge.
Because if you don't have to have an income verification on those, as long as you've been in business for, I think it used to be 2 years, and I think it's 3 years now.
I believe it is 3.
Yeah. And if you've been in self-employed for 3 years consistently, you haven't showed a great loss, you don't even really have to, a lot of these don't have to show tax returns. You just have to show proof that you are employed. So now would be the time to refinance those deals. I mean, because for people like us who have tremendous expenses, we're going to go ahead and use the benefits that we have so that we try not to have to pay taxes on a whole lot of money, and we pay it on a little bit. But with that being said, a lot of times we don't qualify for mortgages.
Because of that.
So we're the kind of people that it hurts the most.
Which is ironic, when you think about
what we do,
that it's sometimes hardest for us to get those.
So George, we just went through some big elections, and you have some nice little tidbit of information over here.
Yeah,
tell us about it.
The National Association of Realtors are claiming that they were a huge factor in both the Congress and the Senate race. They backed certain politicians, which did exceptionally well. In particular, in Martin County, Patrick Murphy, which is a Democrat, substantially won, and it's the first time in many, many years, if ever, that a Democrat won the House, the Congress race in Martin County. And they were supported by the National Association of Realtors, doing local ads paid for by the NRA.
Wow. So huge. So now the Democrats, are those the ones that wait till your back are turned before they take the money? Or they're the ones that take the money from you and right in front of you?
They both will take it. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. They will get it.
Carol, the political conversations I have.
Right. Go Green Party, right? What did he get? I think the governor, the independent governor, I think he got like 6% or something, which really shows. I mean, it's showing that third parties are starting to move in.
Yeah.
I mean,
they are, and there was in one of the places there was one independent that, if they would, I don't know if they won, but if they had won, I mean, the race was neck and neck with this independent and the rest of them. So it was like, holy cow.
Yeah, I saw so much advertising for Patrick Murphy. I didn't even know he was running against anybody.
Well, you didn't.
Patrick Murphy, you have no other.
Exactly, that was a shoo-in.
I think with Patrick Murphy, I think with him is he's a down-home boy.
Yeah.
And he lives here. He loves Martin County. He's very concerned about our waterways, which is a very huge issue here. Mm-hmm. And I think primarily.
And was very strong against Big Choo Choo.
So a lot of our hot buttons.
Or
next week.
But our hot buttons, he's really stood behind himself.
I would like to claim credit, though, for the overwhelming victory for the Children's Services Council. I think that had a lot to do with our interview.
Oh, it was. Excellent.
I think they won 75% here, 85% in St. Lucie. Wow.
Yes, excellent.
So people like children, apparently. That's good. Okay.
Just raise
as long as they're other people's children, I love them. Mine are all grown up.
But as Mike was saying, who were the 15% who didn't like the children?
People who don't have kids?
Yeah. I think we need to go get Joey with the baseball bat. You don't like kids. So what's up with that? All right. Well, we were gonna talk real quick about the Florida-Georgia battle for water coming through, but that's something that you can look up. Florida is actually northwestern Florida is actually suing Georgia for rights to the waterways that come through Georgia from the Apalachicola through the Chattahoochee, saying that. Well, they want more water, and Georgia's saying, no, we're going to take all we want. You can have the leftovers.
They need it for all that Coca-Cola.
Exactly. All right, as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the TREU Radio. We end the show with a Zig Ziglar quote. You were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. Thanks again, and we'll be back next Friday. Carol Morgan, George Matter, and Scott McAllister. I'm Tom Platini, your host. Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. Next week, Casey Taylor with the Big Choo Choo. Don't forget to tune in. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather, ladies and gentlemen.